My bread is ready. Let's go get it. Gorgeous. Shut my oven. Thank you, Lord. Look at that. Bread is just one of those wonderful, basic necessities in our life, isn't it? And bread has traveled with us a long way in our journey through life. Because where did it first start? Our love for bread, peanut butter and jelly, right? And now bread is that thing that's the side of every wonderful meal that you sit down with your family and your friends. Sitting at the table just reminds me of life-giving conversations, of encouragement, of fellowship, of community and hospitality. Bread just reminds me of all good things, the smell, the warmth, the flavor, and the memories that it carries. There's a lot of talk about bread in the Word, right? Which is what we're going to talk about today. I've been looking into 1 Kings 17, and there's a story here about Elijah and this widow. They call her the widow of Zarephath. So Elijah, he's sitting by a brook with the Lord, and the Lord is providing food for him in a time where there's a lot of lack. Ravens are actually bringing Elijah food. But time goes on and the brook dries up and the food stops coming and Elijah is hungry. The Lord's going to take care of him, as he always does, and he sends him to this woman of Zarephath and says that she will give him bread. So when Elijah finds the woman and realizes that she has not enough flour or oil to make bread, well, she has enough for her and her son, but not enough for Elijah. And what she believes is that after they eat this bread, she's going to die. So there's death looming over this woman's life. She's in a state of understanding where she's headed and in her final moments. But for some reason, when Elijah tells her that there will be enough bread, her faith is strong and she believes him. And she goes and does as he said. She goes and makes the bread. And sure enough, another bread miracle happens in the Word. There's bread enough for Elijah and the woman and her son, and there's also flour and oil to last them until the end of the famine. There's so many miracles of the Bible. There's so many wonderful stories to tell, but bread comes up so often. So I feel like it's something that needs to be talked about, right? So the very first thing that comes to mind is Jesus being the bread of life, the bread of heaven, it says he is, that he is what feeds us. Jesus also talks about how his body can be like the bread, that we can take the bread as communion and be filled with him, be filled with his presence, be filled with his fullness. There's also miracles with bread, right? Multiplication of bread, bread feeding people, bread giving people life, bread giving people life everlasting. I also really love that after this miracle, the woman experiences another miracle. Now, I don't know if this woman knew the Lord before this miracle with the bread, but shortly after the miracle with the bread, her son ends up dying, but being resurrected by Elijah. I wonder if that faith came from that little miracle with bread, and I wonder how many little miracles there are inside of us every single day because of the bread of life being in us, because we are the everlasting flour and oil. We are that continual sign of Jesus's life and his bread and his fullness on this earth. I wonder what kind of miracles we carry inside of us. I'm grateful for that woman's story, and I pray for you and for me that we would be as faithful as she was that day that she received that word, and that day that most definitely changed her life. I bless you today.